We learn early that talking is supposed to help. If you're late, you explain. If something feels unfair, you complain so someone understands. If you're misunderstood, you add context so your intention is clear. In cooperative environments, this works. Language coordinates people. It smooths friction. But another reality appears once you spend time in competitive or status-sensitive spaces, places where people don't just hear what you say, they watch how you react. In those environments, words stop being neutral. They become information. They reveal what unsettles you, how quickly you seek validation, how much you care about being perceived correctly. And once that happens, speech stops being expression and starts shaping power dynamics. This is where never complain, never explain becomes practical. The modern world resists this discipline. It constantly invites commentary. Notifications, messages, headlines, all pulling you toward reaction. It feels like action because something is happening. But often, it isn't action. It's disclosure. You're showing your thresholds, expectations, and sensitivity to judgment. And the more often you do that, the easier you become to predict and manage. Never complain means refusing to turn discomfort into something social. Never explain means refusing a frame where your reasons need approval. The point isn't silence, it's agency. Complaint feels honest because it releases pressure. Something goes wrong, you feel friction, and you want to externalize it. So you complain about work, traffic, dating, your body, the system. In the moment, it feels like truth. But complaint always does two things. It announces that you're unsettled, and it asks others to acknowledge it. That's why it spreads. It turns private irritation into a shared emotional space. But it also trains a habit. Instead of correcting, adapting, or moving forward, you learn to narrate friction and wait for recognition. You see this everywhere. Conversations loop around what's hard. Workplaces normalize complaint and become fluent in describing problems while avoiding responsibility for fixing them. Online, complaint reliably produces attention and alignment, but it also shapes the environment you end up in. Complaint creates low-effort bonds. It requires participation, not competence. Over time, groups organized around it resist movement because progress disrupts the shared emotional equilibrium. This is why complaint isn't harmless. It teaches you to display adversity instead of working through it. It conditions you to expect recognition before action. Eventually, this stops being a tactic and becomes identity. Your default response to friction becomes narration, not execution. And quietly, that narrows your life. Explanation is subtler. It often feels responsible. You tell yourself you're being clear, fair, reasonable. Sometimes explanation is required, when there's real accountability or duty. But outside those cases, especially when explanation comes before it's asked for, it usually signals anxiety about being misjudged. You see it in small moments. A short message feels cold, so you send a paragraph justifying yourself. A decision is questioned, and instead of stating it and moving on, you defend every step. Something is misread, and you rush to correct the narrative. The more you explain unnecessarily, the more you accept a frame where your actions require permission. You may think you're adding context, but you're also teaching people how to pull you into defense mode. And once you're defending, the focus shifts from what you did to whether your reasons are acceptable. That's a losing position. Some people aren't trying to understand you. They're testing how much justification they can extract. Every extra sentence gives them leverage. This is why restraint often outperforms clarity. When you explain only what duty requires, you keep your position intact. You stay oriented toward action, not reaction. You preserve the ability to move without narrating your internal logic. Because the more you explain, the more you start anticipating criticism in advance, and that reshapes how you live. Don't complain, because it trains you to seek recognition before correction. Don't explain unless duty requires it, because it trains you to seek approval before commitment. In both cases, the cost is the same. You hand your stability to other people. The alternative isn't withdrawal, it's clean action. If the train is delayed, inform only who needs to know. If someone posts something thoughtless, You respond briefly or not at all. If your space is disordered, you reset it quietly. This is a discipline of reducing unnecessary output. People will interpret you however they want. Many lack the context to interpret you well. You don't need to meet them halfway. Keep your attention on what you're building. Keep your decisions consistent, and let outcomes do the talking. If this unsettled you, don't rush past it. Leave a line below if you need to. And if this way of thinking matters to you, subscribe for more such eye-openers. Remember, the moment you noticed yourself wanting to react was the moment you came across this video.